Hello and welcome to Inside Trojan Athletics. I'm Aaron Taylor, filling in for Jonathan Sellers this week and filling in for Jeremy McLean, who's usually sitting here as a Senior Associate Director of Athletics, Sandy Atkins. Sandy,
glad to be
thanks
here.
for joining us this week on Inside Trojan Athletics. Probably some of the big news that's coming up a little bit in the future here, but it's been announced recently, is the Athletics Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of excitement over it. And I know in last week, I think they discussed the class that's being brought in. But one of the big things about it is the event itself. And it's become almost a black tie event, probably one of the most fun, fancy events, especially to be held in Trojan Arena.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to believe this is our sixth class. Seems like just yesterday we started with our first banquet, but it really has maintained a level of excellence and black tie, like you said. The event itself is really top notch, and it really is one of the most special things that we do in athletics all year long. As we look forward to that, it's obviously April the 15th. We do have tickets on sale now for the banquet. We've got a great class. Like I said, I know they announced the class last week, and it's also listed on our website as well. But a great class, a lot of phone calls already for people interested in buying tables and being supportive. And the class is I believe 6 of the 8 are still located here in the Troy area, so that always also generates more interest when individuals are in this vicinity. So we're really hitting that hard and heavy right now, and trying to sell tables and trying to just do everything we can to get that event put together, from doing videos and getting ready for that on April the 15th.
And of course, this banquet may expand your audience a little bit due to the fact that some of the new members, such as Johnny Long, have almost like a different audience that you're cultivating, because all of those members of the Sound of the South and everyone else that may not have thought about coming to a Hall of Fame banquet, now their eyes are opened up to the fact that hey, I need to be there for this, because this is honoring a man that meant so much to the program.
Right.
So.
And when you're sitting in the Hall of Fame committee meetings, and you really get down into who has had an impact from an athletic standpoint, and that can be on the field, it can be on the sidelines, it can be in a lot of different places. But all of those people, those that have gone in before, in this class in particular, have had a huge impact on athletics. And that the relationship that we have, that athletics has with the Sound of the South, is top notch. And I love talking to other constituents at other institutions, and they talk about how sometimes how poor of a relationship they have with the band, and that is not the case with us. We've always had a great partnership, and that all started with Johnny Long.
Oh yes,
and,
of course.
And people like Benny Beard, who were a huge impact when Troy made the move from Division II to Division I. And a lot of people today don't know the history of 20 years ago, but it's certainly huge impacts that these individuals made on athletics.
And of course, now let's talk about any of these new audience members, Sound of the South, or other community members that may be interested in coming and celebrating. People also like Doug Hawkins, that's a part of the class this year. Tickets, how can they get a hold of tickets? And I know there's 2 different ways you can get individual tickets, or if you want to, you can go out and get a table for it. So.
Absolutely. The tickets are $100 each. Included in that is obviously entrance into the event, but it's a really nice meal that you can have, that you have with the event itself. Then of course the banquet, and seeing the videos and the tributes to those individuals. So $100 for a ticket, or $800 a table seats 8 people, so $800 for a table. And you can, the best thing to do is you can go on the website, or you can actually call our office, and that number's 334-670-3482. And Helen Shirey will answer the phone, and you can give her your information, and she'll be glad to get you set up with that.
And now, is there any other ways that individuals out there can get involved, maybe financially, or support the Hall of Fame banquet, or be a part of this?
Absolutely. We sell sponsorships.
Okay.
We also sell we do have a program that's put together with the Hall of Fame, and so you can buy congratulatory messages in that program. And all of that, again, the main line to the ticket to the athletic offices can get you in touch with somebody that can make that happen.
All right. Well, that's a little bit farther in the future. Let's bring it a little bit closer because it's right here, still early in the spring, but coming up soon. It seems like the floodgates are going to open up for you guys here, especially here at home, because pretty much every spring sport is about to kick off. So
the busiest time of year that we have is when you have the winter sports that are overlapping with the spring sports that are about to begin. So I love it when we have a lot of events going on the same day. Our event staff probably would kill me hearing me say that, but of course we've still got men and women's basketball playing. Softball does start next week, and then the next week baseball kicks off. And golf, men and women's golf, men and women's tennis, track and field has already started their indoor season. So the weekend of the 17th, we're going to have a lot of events going on. We've got a softball tournament, baseball series that weekend, and men and women's home basketball games.
A lot of activity. So anybody that wants to get their fill of Trojan athletics, that's the weekend to get here on campus that weekend. So obviously, and the basketball team, you're talking about the fact that this season's kind of starting to draw to an end. They're going to be playing there that weekend. But looking at the conference tournament here down the road, and this year a little bit different from the last year, because it doesn't matter how the teams finish up this season, they're going to the tournament. So let's talk about the tournament and how folks can follow along with the team there. So.
Sure. The Sun Belt Conference increased the number of teams this year, so they're taking all teams, which is great. I think it gives every team an opportunity to be able to go to the tournament and student athletes to experience that. It does make for a long week, but I guess you are in New Orleans, so that's a good thing. It does start on May the 7th, I believe. March the 7th. That's a Tuesday. And hopefully the first round, the top 4 teams get a bye. So if we end up as a top 4 team, we'll get a bye Tuesday and Wednesday. So that's the goal, to try to get a little bit further into the tournament without having to play in those first couple of days. But it is in New Orleans. It does start March the 7th with the women, and then the men start on the 8th. And then, of course, like I said, if either team gets a bye, that just pushes them down the road a little bit on when they would start.
And I guess it makes it a little bit easier on your side of things, getting ready for the tournament, knowing that you're going to be there. Unlike in the past where you have to weigh the options, and fans need to know whether or not they have to buy the tickets. Right now they can go ahead and start making those plans and making their way towards New Orleans.
That's a very good point. We've met with our alumni office. We've already had several meetings. We're really trying to draw a big interest and take a large crowd down to New Orleans, because yes, you are right. We'll have both teams in New Orleans playing in the conference tournament. Of course, with the women last year being successful, that was a great run for them and a lot of fun. So hopefully we can replicate that with both the men and the women. But we do plan on having some events down in New Orleans, having a point of reference, to where Troy fans can meet at this place. So we'll start unrolling that over the next couple of weeks as we get a little closer to the tournament. But you can go ahead and start booking tickets, and getting your hotel rooms down in New Orleans.
All right, then let's talk. One of the last things I'll talk to you right here is the basketball games this year. The relationship with ESPN and ESPN3, an opportunity for a lot of more eyes to see these games, and some of our other sports will, but the basketball teams most definitely, especially out of Trojan Arena. And I hear you've gotten some pretty good feedback from that whole relationship and that broadcast partnership there.
It's really been amazing, even more than going into it. We knew it was going to be great for Troy and our exposure, but really what it has done is it has allowed so many different eyes to see the game from just a general fan. We'd love for everybody to come to the event, but in the case you can't, to be able to watch it on your phone or sitting in your house, to parents that are home and not been able to watch the events, to be able to watch it on ESPN3. And I've even gotten a couple of phone calls from some women's basketball committee members who, they're following our team very closely, having a pretty good year. And so, it's always great. They do watch a lot of basketball games, and I've gotten a couple of texts during the middle of our games with some committee members watching. So that's just been another bonus for having
because those eyes. If you're into being a bubble team, you get more eyes looking at you, and they see a quality opponent for the tournament. There, you may end up having some bonuses that you may not have expected there towards the end.
Absolutely.
So, well, I've seen my fair share of those games on the phone, traveling around and having been able to make it to Trojan Arena. So it's been a good opportunity for me, and I know fans all over the place. So, well, it sounds like we've got a busy time coming up with Trojan Athletics. Next weekend, the floodgates will open. Good luck. Don't get too stressed out and enjoy some games. Sandy,
Thank you,
thanks for being here.
Appreciate it.
And stay tuned for more of what's coming up on Inside Trojan Athletics. Welcome back to Inside Trojan Athletics, and in this segment, I'm going to talk a little softball.
That's
Head
right.
Coach Beth Mullins here to join us to talk a little bit about softball, and the week's here.
It's here.
It's here.
It's game week.
Your game week. You're getting ready to hit the road to Florida. Before we talk about your opponents, let's talk about where the team is at right now, because you've had a fairly good couple of weeks, especially weather-wise, of practice getting ready for this. So how things feel with the team right now?
They've been good. I mean, like you said, the weather has cooperated, and for an outdoor sport in January and February, we've been outside every day. So I think maybe till today, we have been out every single day. So it's been good. My assistant coaches have had a really good plan, and I think they've implemented that plan, and the girls have bought in, and they've gotten better every single day, and I feel like we're in a really good place. We've got today and tomorrow, and then hit the road Thursday.
And of course, I've got a nice long road trip to start things off, heading down to Boca Raton for this first tournament. Let's talk about hitting the road for the first time and getting that preparation for getting in there, because hitting that road and making such a long trip, I know it's got to be probably maybe a little bit iffy with the plans and getting the team together there. So.
Yeah, again, I have a great staff, and I've got a great director of ops. So the last 2 weeks, we have been pretty much planning this. So I think it's going to, the actual trip, I think is going to be great. I mean, we're going to fly down there, so it'll be very minimal. Very minimal things. And a softball field's a softball field. So it doesn't matter if you're playing in Boca Raton or New York or whatever, the girls are just going to go out there and play. And I think they're going to take, we talk about it all the time, trust your training, and it doesn't matter where you are. And I think we're actually going to have a lot of fans down there. I mean, who doesn't want to go to Boca Raton to watch,
Of course.
Softball. So I think we'll have great fans. I think it'll kind of feel like a home atmosphere, and I expect our girls to treat it like that.
Now, you say there's no difference between New York and Boca Raton, but right now I'm thinking the weather might be a little bit different between New York and Boca Raton. So
yeah, Mother Nature cooperated and gave us a little Florida weather to practice in, so we're prepared for it. But it's supposed to be in the mid-70s, so I think we're going to get all 5 games in. All
right, let's stop talking about the weather forecast for a little bit. Let's actually talk about a game forecast. Let's talk about the competition that you're going to be facing. 5 games, you just mentioned that there. Tell about the competition you'll be facing.
Friday, we'll have a doubleheader. I believe it's Bethune-Cookman and then North Florida. And then the next day, another back-to-back, and it's Michigan State, NC State. And then we'll follow it up with 1 game against Boston on Sunday. So, it's a great, it's a great 5 games against 5 completely different opponents. And I think it'll give us a really good range of seeing where we are. And I think it'll give us an opportunity to play a lot of people and kind of see, I talk about all the time, who our best 9 are instead of the 9 best. So I think we got to find our best 9/10 players and see who's working and playing best together.
And of course, talk a little bit about starting out on the road in contrast to at home.
Yeah.
As we did last year, obviously, with 19 or 20 out of 21 games, you started the season here at home. So hitting the road right off the bat, a little bit of change of pace for you there. So.
Yeah, this is the first time since I've been here we've gone on the road the first weekend, and I think we needed to do it. Last year we had 3 weekends in a row that we just sat at home. Like you said, I think 20 of our first 21 games were at home, and we were very successful. But when we went on the road, it was, kind of a shock, and I don't know if it prepared us very well for the conference, slate.
Yeah.
So I think, we've got a relatively inexperienced team coming in here, and I think going on the road will be a great way to, get them some experience, get them comfortable being uncomfortable before we come back home and are a little more comfortable, and then getting ready for, like I said, our conference is amazing. So you've got to go out there, and they say iron sharpens iron, and play some people and get on the road and get in uncomfortable situations to get used to it.
And of course, you mentioned that the first chance for the Trojan fans to see you at home will be the following weekend.
February 17th.
All right. And who will you be facing on that weekend?
Jacksonville. We've got Jacksonville, Sanford, and Longwood in that tournament. So I think we'll play all of them, and I think we'll play Jacksonville twice. So again, we've got 2 solid tournaments here. We don't play in any all 4 of our tournaments are going to be really good. So it's going to be a really good way for us to work our way up to the conference series.
All right. Well, on the road this weekend, and then back home on the 17th for the first chance to see you here in Trojan territory.
Yes.
For the 2017 season. Good luck to the season, and thanks for being here today. So
Appreciate it.
all right, and stay tuned for more of what's coming up in Inside Trojan Athletics right after this. Welcome back to Inside Troy Athletics. This segment, talking some women's basketball. Head coach Chanda Rigby joining me here. And Chanda, big weekend. Anytime you can say you beat the Jaguars is a good weekend. That rivalry game, big time this weekend for you guys, and picked up the sweep as well. So.
Picked up the sweep. It was very close. It came down to a couple of sideline plays at the end, as it always does against South Alabama. It's always very close, but we were glad to get out of Trojan Arena with a win that night.
Of course, and you say close, and some of these people like me, the heart kind of pumped there towards the end. And you've had a couple of these close games recently, so what you working on with that?
Well, this is I can't remember any season I've ever coached with so many close games. I mean, we're not able to put a team away right now, and we've been scratching our head and seeing what it is. And right now we're saying we believe rebounding is one of the keys. And even though we are leading the nation in offensive rebounds, number 1 in the nation, our defensive rebounding is just, we're not getting it done. And so that's what we're working on. We got practice in about 20 minutes right now, and that's what we're going to be working on today is rebounding, trying to put teams away by securing the rebound.
And of course, once again, the importance of having that sweep of your in-state conference rival. It's got to build some little bit of confidence, that swell up in the team there.
Yes, we're very fortunate. Again, we understand the thing about the rivalry, the in-state rivalry. Crazy things happen on those nights. So you just really want to put those games behind you with a win and be thankful and move on.
And of course, talking about moving on, you've got kind of a daunting road trip ahead of you this week. You got to hit the Louisiana teams, and one of those is probably one of the hardest places to play in the conference outside of Trojan Arena, obviously. So.
Right. So we go play Monroe on Thursday. We leave in the morning. We go to play Monroe on Thursday. Tough place to play for us. For some reason, I don't know what's wrong with the rims over there, but in the past we haven't shot well. We hope to change that this time. And then we go on over to Louisiana on Saturday. And that's always interesting to play with the men's doubleheader there because about the second half of the women's game, about 4,000 or 5,000 fans roll in there in the Cajun Dome. It gets really loud and really crazy, and it's almost like another player out on the floor for them.
And that's what I'm talking about. It's a tough place to play already, but then that shift, and that's something that you have kind of, I guess, a kind of a quiet house to start the game, and then momentum shift. And you said that's actually affected you guys in the past.
It did. Last year that happened to us. We were up by about 14, 15 points at half, and at the end it just got louder and louder and more fans, and they were on their feet the whole time. And one thing led to another, and I don't think we'd ever been in that type of environment before, and we ended up dropping that game to them. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen. We're going to do some practicing this week with some really loud music in the practice gym so the players can't hear us. So when that happens, that they can't hear us calling, we can have our coach on the floor, Amanda Mendoza, or players like that with experience to run things on the floor.
And of course, at this point, conference play, with the success you've had, your second place, which is obviously a good place for you to be, but you've still got a little ways to go. How comfortable are you feeling right now as you get closer and closer to conference play? So,
well, second place is not where we want to be. Of course, we're scratching and clawing to get in that first place, and so we're doing everything we possibly can. Every coaches meeting, we talk about what do we have to do to win the next game, and then how can that pay off down the road to win the championship. So really everything is about taking one game at a time, but when we roll back around and play the last regular season game of the year, which is UALR at home in Trojan Arena, they're first in the conference. We've got to beat them.
And that could potentially be probably one of the most exciting games all season, the chance to maybe secure that first place finish going into the tournament.
Right,
so need the fans to show up and be proud of that. Schedule's a little farther down the road, but you are hitting the road this weekend. Once again, if anybody wants to check out radio or pay attention to you guys, when are the games for you this week?
Okay, so we play at 6 o'clock this Thursday, and you can go on TroyTrojans.com and link in if you want to listen to it on radio or watch on ESPN3. Same thing on Saturday. We play at 5 o'clock on Saturday at Lafayette, and you can link in on our website and watch us, follow us, or follow live stats.
All right, well, good luck, and hopefully you come back with a Louisiana sweep when we see you here next time. So
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. So thanks for joining us on this week's Inside Troy Athletics. Join us again next week to find out more about what's going on here in Troy Athletics.